external level. External level is the individual user level. User can be an application programmer or end user. So first, what is application programmer? Develops programs in conventional programming languages, or programmer develops using fourth generation programming languages, Java, C++, Python. All these languages we can call fourth generation languages. And what is end user? End user uses the language will be either query language or some special purpose language. So query language, you know that SQL or query by example, another language. Okay. So all these languages uses by end user, this language we can call host language. Okay. And what is a DSL stands for? These query languages are host languages. We have some menu driven interfaces. So last class I given what is a menu driven interface. Example, Microsoft Access, graphical user interface. We can create a table and we connect a form to database easily by using some menus. So this system we can call it as a menu driven interface. Okay. So host language supports or includes, not supports, includes data sublanguage. So what is meant by DSL? Data sublanguage. Subset of the total language that is concerned specifically with database objects and operations. With database objects and operations. Data sublanguage, it is embedded within the corresponding host language. So it is embedded. So here that's why we can see here host language plus DSL. So DSL is embedded. So that means if you take SQL, so the data sublanguages are DDL, data definition language, DML, data manipulation language, DML, data definition language and data manipulation language. What data definition language will do? Which supports the definitions or declarations of database objects. Supports definitions or declarations of database objects. And data manipulation language, which supports the processing or manipulation of such objects. So what is a manipulation? Here you can see manipulation. DML is for executable statements that allows inserting new rows, updating existing rows, deleting existing rows from a table. If you want to add a new row into the existing table, so you can insert by using data manipulation language. It is a DSL, data sublanguage. You can update the data and you can delete the existing rows from a table. If you want to reduce the number of rows in the table, you can reduce by removing or deleting the rows from a table. This is DML. Okay. So here one more point we have to discuss, and it is also very important. It is convenient for architectural purposes to distinguish between data sublanguage and its containing host language. So we have to distinguish. If they are not distinct, if they can be distinguished only with difficulty, we say the host language and data sublanguage are tightly coupled. If they are clearly and easily separable, we say they are loosely coupled. Okay, so remember, so when we say tightly coupled host language and data sublanguage, if they are not distinct, if they can be distinguished only with difficulty, we say they are tightly coupled, and the combination is called database programming language. Host language plus DSL. If it is a tightly coupled, we can say database programming language. If they are clearly easily separable, we say they are loosely coupled. Some commercial systems, including particular certain SQL products such as Oracle, support tight coupling. That means they can be distinguished only with difficulty, SQL and Oracle. So that's why Oracle supports tight coupled. Okay, remember. So example, you can take this here. The representation of data at external level uses two end users. One user uses PL bar I, another end user uses COBOL. Okay. Now, DDL portion of PL bar I that are needed to declare the objects. So here just he can declare the objects, employee number. So what is the stored file, and this employee number and this salary. He defined by using declare statement. So that is a DCL. Okay. So here the pattern is different, not like SQL. Okay. Now here external COBOL uses some other mechanism. So initially this is stored file, and again this is a record. So combine all these two, we can call it as a record or individual stored field, employee number and department number. Okay. So here we are declaring database objects and defining database objects at external level. DML portion, sublanguage, data manipulation language portion consists of those executable statements that transfer information into and out of the database. So data manipulation language, once you perform operations on database objects, that operation stored again in database management system or stored, or they can access the data and they can send in other out of the database system, or you can save in some external device, so that we can say out of the database. So these are the important points you have to remember at external level. So each external view, see here external view A and external view B, defined by means of external schema, here external schema. Okay, so external view is defined by means of external schema, which consists of basically definitions of each of the various external record types, each of the various external record types in external view. So here we are defining each and every definition and each and every external record at external view. Okay, the external schema written using the DDL portion of the user's data sublanguage. Okay, so this is about external level. The next level is lower level, and it is a middle level, conceptual level. Okay, so normally we know that conceptual view is a representation of entire information content of the database. Again, entire information, the total content is represented at conceptual view logically, and we are defining data fields, and this data field belongs to, and it is related to which entity, and if there are 2 tables or 3 tables, how these tables are related to each other, everything we are representing here at conceptual level. It will also be quite different compared to external level. The conceptual view consists of many occurrences of many types of conceptual record. Here it might consist of collection of department record occurrences plus collection of employee record occurrences plus collection of supplier record occurrences plus collection of part record occurrences. So database is not only for particular database. So you can see here so many notations of databases. That means one notation is used to represent one data: student data, customer data, department data, supplier data, or suppose we are saving the data in college softwares. What are the softwares available? This is also softwares data. So many occurrences of data we are representing at conceptual level. Okay, and here the logical relationship, if there is an index or any security constraints, so we have to represent all these constraints at conceptual view. Conceptual view, it is a view of the total database content, and conceptual schema is a definition of that view. The definitions in the conceptual schema are intended to include great many additional features such as security and integrity constraints. So how these tables are related? One table is related with another table. So we are using some key constraints, primary key, or we are giving a reference to connect other table such as foreign key. All these keys constraints we have to represent at conceptual level by using the conceptual schema. So finally, the ultimate objective of the conceptual schema is describe the complete enterprise, not just its data, okay, but also how the data is used, on what way data is represented. So this is conceptual level. Okay, coming to the lowest level, internal level or storage level, or we can say physical level. or here it uses the internal schema to store the data in database storage device. Okay, so or you can say third level of the architecture is the internal level. Internal view is a low level representation of the entire database. Here we are representing all the data. If you take an enterprise, so this is enterprise database. If you take some sales, it is a sales database, production database, department database. So all these databases represented at lower level. It consists of many occurrences of many types of internal records. Internal record is a term for the construct that we have been calling the stored record. The internal view is thus still at one remove from the physical level. It does not deal in terms of physical records, also called blocks or pages. So here block or page is the unit of input output operation. That is, it is the amount of data transferred between secondary storage and main memory. So just here, okay. So here, this is the internal storage representation and stored file, stored employee. This is the total number of bytes required for this stored file, stored employee. Again, these 20 bytes is divided by using stored fields, prefix, employee number, department number and pay. So it is divided 6 bytes, 6 bytes, 4 bytes and 4 bytes. Totally it is a 20 bytes of data. So what is input output operation here? So end user access the data. He will access the data. How much he will access? How much amount of data transferred from storage device to memory, because he want to perform some operations. So we have to transfer the data from secondary storage to main memory. So then we can refer the amount of transfer between secondary storage and main memory in a single input output operation is called blocks or pages of data. Okay, so normally you remember blocks of data, that is 20 bytes of data one block can store. Okay, 20 bytes of data. This is small example. Like this we have so many examples. The internal view is described by means of internal schema, which not only defines the various stored record types but also specifies what indexes exist, how stored fields are represented. So here in internal levels we discussed in previous classes. Here we are representing the internal storage representation of data, at the same time encryption and data compression techniques also. Okay, so here encryption means we are providing security of data, encrypting code and decrypting code by using several algorithms we have. So all this you try to know about the concepts of encryption and hashing. Hashing is also encryption policy. So all this we will define at internal level by using internal schema. So the internal schema is written using another data definition language. We can call it as internal data definition language. This is the internal level, just you can see conceptual level here and internal level here. Internal view is lower level or low level, the representation of entire database. So many occurrences of many types of internal record, example student data, customer record, okay, suppliers record, every record you have to store and represent internally in storage device. Internal view effectively assumes unbounded linear address space also. Address storage is mapped to physical storage, are highly system specific and are deliberately omitted from the general architecture. So block or page is the unit of input output operation, that is the amount of data transferred between secondary storage and main memory in a single input output operation. The internal view is described by means of the internal schema, which not only defines the various stored record types but also specifies what indexes exist, how stored fields are represented, what physical sequence the stored records are in. So these are the important points regarding internal level, conceptual level, external level,